Once again, good morning, everyone. One characteristic of a cell is the ability to perpetuate, no? The cell divide or produce daughter cells to sustain or to maintain the life of an organism. Also, para mapalaki nila yung isang organism. And somatic cells are type of cells that are makes up our body. No? Lahat po ng ating nakikita are made up of somatic cells. Mula po sa ating mga organs, sa ating mga organ system, and the whole organism is made up of somatic cells. Now, etong mga somatic cells po, ito yung mga responsible for the life, no, of the organism. And they divide using the process of mitosis. Now, this mitosis is a process of cell division where it produces a daughter cell containing the same number or containing the same amount of chromosome of an organism. In human, kung 46 yung chromosome ng isang tao, 46 din ang ipoproduce ng daughter cell, okay? Or ng parent cell sa kanyang mga daughter cells. Aside from the somatic cell, meron po tayong tinatawag na germ cell, no? Na responsible naman sa reproduction, so pagpaparami ng mismong organism. And like mitosis, they undergo cell division as well to perpetuate. Okay? And the process is different from mitosis because it only contains half the number of chromosome of the organism. In human, kung 46 ang chromosome ng isang tao, one haploid cell, no, will only contain 23, no? Alamin po natin kung bakit. Bakit kailangan kalahati lang? Now, meiosis is the form of cell division by which gametes, no? Gametes are also what we call the germ cells, with half the number of chromosomes are produced. No? Take note of that. Half the number of chromosomes are produced. Ito, take note of this. It is the very distinct characteristic of meiosis. Thus, they are called the haploid cells. No? When we say diploid, it contains the original number. No? Kung 46, 46 din yung chromosome. When we say haploid, it contains only half the number or the amount of chromosome. Now, in human, meron tayong iba't ibang uri ng sex cells. No? Meron tayong tinatawag na sperm cell, meron tayong tinatawag na sex cells. And then the sperm cells are stuck, no? Nakastuck yan or nakalagay yan sa mga testis ng mga lalaki in which they wait for maturity and they wait for the time na sila ay lalabas mula sa testis and find an egg cell to fertilize. Also, in the case of female naman, they have what we call the egg cell. And these egg cell are housed in the ovary of a female that releases every month, no? Na lumalabas yan every month. Unlike sa lalaki, the sperm cells were released in platoon. in group, no? Ano sila, para silang sumasabak sa gera. Okay? Grupo. Unlike in female, ang nire-release lang na egg cell ay isa lang po every month. Okay? Now, Sperm cell and egg cells do not replicate. No? Remember that. Sperm cells and egg cells do not replicate. Sir, bakit po sila dumarami? We have what we call the gametes, or we have what we call the germ cell. No? The germ cell produces the sperm cell. But sperm cell do not undergo cell division. Take note of that. Okay? That is the reason kung bakit hindi nauubusan ng sperm cell ang mga lalaki. Okay? It is because of meiosis. Now, aalamin po natin, why do sex cells carry only half of the total number of chromosome? During fertilization po, no? During fertilization, it is the moment where the sperm cell will unite to an egg cell to form a zygote. A zygote is what we call a fertilized egg. Imagine if a sperm cell contains 46 chromosomes and the egg cell contains 46 chromosomes and they unite. What do you think will happen to the organism that containing 92 number of chromosomes? Diba? If the sperm cell is a diploid cell and the egg cell is a diploid cell as well. Kaya kung mapapansin po ninyo dito sa ating image dito, ang sperm cell po ay naglalaman lamang ng 23 number of chromosome in case of human at ang egg cell po ay 23. Now, when these two sex cells unite, na tinatawag po nating fertilized egg, it will receive 23 chromosome from the sperm and 23 chromosome from the egg. That is for a total of 46 chromosome. If you can still remember in our lesson in meiosis, no? We have 23 pairs of chromosome. When we say pair, pares yan, one from the mother, which is the egg cell, one from the father, which is the sperm cell. Okay? Now, yung pares na po na yon ay 23. Meaning to say, kung paghihiwa-hiwalayin po natin yan, meron tayong 46. From the time of fertilization, the fertilized egg will have a total of 46 chromosomes. From one cell, no, it will now begin the cell cycle or the process of mitosis and form a new organism. Okay? From one fertilized egg, magse-cell division, magmamitosis yan, magiging dalawa. At yung dalawang yon ay magmamitosis ulit, magiging ilan na? 4. At yung 4 na yon ay magmamitosis ulit, magiging ilan na? 8. Tama ba? Tama ba yung bilang ko? 2, 4, 6, 8. Tama. 8. And the cycle continue hanggang lumaki ang organism. Okay? Now guys, during meiosis, the cell divides twice. 2 beses pong nagdi-divide ang cell during meiosis. That forms 4 daughter cells. I want you to understand that the division takes place for germ cells, different from sperm cell and egg cell po ha. Magkaiba po yan. Ang sperm cell at ang egg cell po ay hindi nagdi-divide. Ang nagdi-divide po ang germ cell. Germ cell are the type of cell that produces sperm cells and egg cell. Okay? The process of cell division is the same with mitosis. Pareho lang po. Merong prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase. The only difference is the number of chromosome that is present in each daughter cell. Another distinct characteristic of meiosis is that it allows the exchange of genetic material between the homologous chromosome. When we say exchange of genetic material, naglilipat-lipat ng trait. Okay? That is the reason kung bakit you have your siblings, right? May mga kapatid kayo at hindi kayo magkakamuka. That is the reason bakit pareho naman kayo na magulang, pero bakit may mukhang ampon? Okay, hindi talaga magkakamuka, no? Kung may makukuha man kayong magkatulad, some traits lang, no? Pwedeng sa mata, magka-shape, pwedeng sa kilay, magka-shape. Okay? But not totally na magkatulad. Now, like somatic cells, katulad po ng sa mga somatic cells, germ cells are diploid, no? Contrary to what we have, to what we know, that sperm cell are haploid cells. Ang mga germ cell po ay diploid cell, meaning to say, it contains the original number of chromosome of the organism. Ang germ cell po ay may 46 na chromosome. Okay? And this germ cell contains the same genetic material, no, from the mother and the father na magkaparehas, na magkapares. And the germ cell can either undergo mitosis. Pwede yang mag-undergo mitosis. Bakit po siya kailangan mag-mitosis? The germ cell will decide kung kailangan ng maraming germ cell, gagawa tayo ng maraming germ cell. Therefore, I will undergo mitosis. Kung kailangan naman po ng mga gametes or mga sex cells, sperm cell yan or egg cell yan, the germ cell will undergo meiosis. Remember that after meiosis, no, wala nang cycle na madadaanan ang gametes. After meiosis, no, sila po ay magiging sperm cell na o sila ay magiging egg cell na. At hihintayin na lang po nila na sila ay magamit. Ano po nangyayari sa kanila? Do they reproduce? No. Namamatay lang po sila. Kaya nga po, ang mga babae may monthly period, no? It's because of that. Kapag ba lumabas ang egg cell sa ovary, magdi-divide pa ba yan? Hindi po. Mamamatay na lang yan. At yan yung nilalabas during the monthly period. Okay? Kapag ba ang sperm cell ay naglalakbay, no, patungo sa egg cell, yan ba ay nagdi-divide din? Hindi po. No? Ano po nangyayari sa kanila? Namamatay. Okay? Yung iba napapagod, yung iba ay hindi nakakaabot, namamatay, nawawalan ng energy. Meron lang talaga na isa na maswerteng makakatagpo ng kanyang forever. Okay? So that is the process of meiosis. Pero kung halimbawa, ang germ cell po ay sinabi niya na mitosis ang gawin natin kasi kailangan natin ng maraming tagagawa ng sperm cell. Ano po ang gagawin ng germ cell? Mag-undergo siya ng mitosis, magdi-divide siya, containing the same number, which is 46. Okay? Yan ang pagkakaiba ng germ cell sa somatic cell. Ang germ cell pwedeng mag-mitosis, pwedeng mag-meiosis. Ang somatic cell, mitosis lang talaga yan. Okay? Now, like the somatic cell, meron tayong tinatawag na interphase. Okay? Before the actual cell division or meiosis occur, the germ cell will undergo interphase. In this phase, the cell will decide whether it will proceed with mitosis or meiosis. No? Diyan yan pag-uusapan. O anong kailangan natin? Kailangan ba natin ng sperm cell? O kung kailangan natin ng sperm cell, sige, meiosis tayo. O kailangan ba natin ng additional na germ cell? Kung kailangan natin ng additional na germ cell, mitosis ang gawin natin. Okay? That happens during interphase. Like in mitosis, the interphase let the cell to grow and prepare for the cell division. Nagpapalaki ng mga organelles, nagpapalaki ng nagduduplicate ng DNA. Okay? And outside the nucleus, the centrosomes or the centrioles are also duplicated. After the interphase, the cell will undergo two cell divisions, which are divided into two phases, the Meiosis I and the Meiosis II. Meiosis I is the first cell division process. After Meiosis I, the germ cell will produce two haploid cells. Dito pa lang po, no? Dito pa lang sa Meiosis I, haploid na ang magagawa. Okay? Haploid na yung magagawa. Contrary doon sa alam po natin na 46 pa rin. Tapos, hahatiin lang yung chromatin strand. Hindi po siya ganon. Dito pa lang sa Meiosis I, pag nag-divide yan, dalawang haploid na. 23 chromosomes, not 23 pairs. Hindi po. Like in mitosis, it is also divided into 4 major stages. We have the prophase, the metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. And cytokinesis will happen as well. Matatapos ang Meiosis I pag nagawa ang cytokinesis, which is the actual cell division. Okay? Kung mapapansin po ninyo dito, we have Meiosis I, cytokinesis, Meiosis II, and cytokinesis. During this cytokinesis, the cell will produce two haploid cell. And these two haploid cell will undergo Meiosis II, which will produce 4 haploid cells. Now, during the phase 1, or the prophase I, it is considered as the longest and the most complex phase of meiosis. Bakit po kaya ito ay kinukonsider na longest and complex? Pinakamatagal at pinakamahirap na parte ng meiosis. Like in mitosis, the cell membrane starts to break. Matutunaw yung cell membrane. And homologous chromosomes will come together and form a tetrad. Ano po ba yung homologous chromosome? Ano po ba yung tetrad? A tetrad is composed of 2 chromosomes. Okay, 2 chromosome or 4 na chromatids. 2 sister chromatid, 2 non-sister chromatid. 4. Now, homologous chromosomes means pair of chromosomes coming from the mother and the father that are similar in size and shape. They carry genes controlling the same inherited traits such as the hair color and the height. Take a look at this, guys. Tandaan po ninyo. that we are looking for an organism. Ito, let us assume that this cell is an organism containing 6 chromosome. 6 lang chromosome. Okay? Now, these 6 chromosomes, 3 coming from the mother, 3 coming from the father. Meaning to say, we have 3 pairs. Bakit po sila naging pares? Because they have the same size, they have the same shape. Ano po ba yung tinutukoy nating size? Ano yung tinutukoy nating shape? Okay? Look at this nuclear envelope. We have 2 colors here. We have the purple, we have the blue. Assume that the blue chromosome are the chromosomes coming from the father. The purple are the chromosomes coming from the mother. Okay? And each chromosome from the mother, no, meron siyang kapares na chromosome galing sa tatay. Paano po yung ginagawa nating pagpapares? This is a chromatid, no? A chromatid is a condensed DNA. Okay? Huwag na nating isipin kung sister ba yan or non-sister. Basta ito yung nagduduplicate. A chromatid has what we call the locus. Okay? Ito yung locus. Sa chromatid na tinitignan natin dito, may 2 locus. And this locus contains the gene. Okay? The gene or the genetic information of the organism. And the gene contains the trait. Okay? Ano yung genetic information na nandito? Eye color. Ano yung trait na nandito? Brown. Okay? Ano pa yung nandito sa ibaba? This locus contains the gene for hair color. Ano yung trait? Hazel. Okay? Now guys, remember in mitosis, this chromatid, decondensed, no? Ang chromatid na ito ay magiging DNA after mitosis. And this DNA will be duplicated for cell division. At yan po ay magkakaroon ng tinatawag nating sister chromatid. Okay? This sister chromatid is the exact copy of this chromatid. Meaning to say, nandito rin yung locus niya for the eye color, nandito rin yung locus niya for the hair color. At ang locus na ito ay nilalaman din yung genetic information na brown eye color at yung genetic information na hazel color. Okay? Now, ito po, sabihin na natin ito ay chromosome coming from the father. Meron din tayo galing kay nanay. Okay? Meron din tayong katulad nito na galing kay nanay. Ano lang po ang kanilang pagkakaiba? Ang trait. Pero ang gene ay pareho. Nandiyan ang gene, magkaiba ng trait. Ang eye color ni nanay ay black. Ang hair color ni nanay ay black. Okay? Pero yung tinatawag po nating homologous, no, yung sinasabi po nating homologous, pareho ng location ng loci or ng locus. Kaya po, pareho sila ng size, pareho sila ng shape. Yun po ang magpapares. Okay? Halimbawa, sinabi ko sa inyo, group yourselves according to birthday. O lahat ng may October 1 ng birthday, magsasama-sama. Yun po yung pares. Okay? Parang dito, lahat ng chromosome na may laman ng eye color at hair color magsama-sama. Nagsama nga sila, pero hindi naman po pareho yung trait. Magkapareho lang ng nilalaman. Kakaintindihan po? Okay? Ngayon po, yung magsasama dito sa Prophase I. Okay? Magkapareho sila, kaya tinawag natin silang homologous. Now, this homologous ay tinatawag din po nating tetrad. Okay? Now, in humans, there are 23 pairs of homologous chromosome. 23 pairs of homologous chromosome. 22 are what we call the autosomes. Okay? These autosomes are the chromosome containing the genetic information of the parent and the mother. Saan po napunta yung isang pares? That pair will become the sex chromosome. It will identify kung ano yung magiging gender ni organism. Will it be a female? Will it be a male? Okay? Because of the 23rd chromosome, which is what we call the sex chromosome. Maliwanag po ba yon? Okay. Now, kung mapapansin po ninyo, tetrads are formed for the purpose of crossing over. Bakit kailangan ng tetrad? Bakit kailangan ng homologous pair? It is because of what we call the crossing over. Ano po ba yung crossing over? The crossing over is the exchange of genetic material or genetic information. Remember po, no? Remember kanina, ang sabi natin, etong purple ay chromosome mula kay nanay, etong blue ay chromosome mula kay tatay. And in this area, naalala po ba ninyo kung ano yung nandito? Sabihin na nating hair color ni nanay ay black. Hair color ni tatay ay hazel. During Prophase I, nangyayari po yung tinatawag nating crossing over. What happens to the crossing over? Ano po ang nangyayari sa crossing over? Segments of non-sister chromatid, hindi po magkapatid, hindi duplicated, contains the same genetic information, breaks and reattach to the other chromatid. Pansinin po ninyo ang mangyayari dito sa chasmata na to. Okay? Pumatong yung chromosome, yung isang side lang pumatong yung chromosome sa kabila, no? Naputol at nagkapalit po sila ng trait. Kanina po, ang black hair color ay dala-dala ni nanay. Ngayon, ang dala-dala na ni nanay, yung hazel na eye color, na hair color. Isipin po ninyo, kung itong chromatid na ito ay napunta sa inyo, no? You will contain a black eye color and a hazel hair color. Mapapansin ninyo na meron na kayong trait ni nanay, may trait pa kayo ni tatay. Unlike kung halimbawang hindi nangyari ang crossing over, tapos ito yung napunta sa inyo, lahat ng trait ni nanay ay makikita sa inyo. Walang makikitang trait mula kay tatay. That is the purpose of crossing over. It is to offer variation of the organism, magkakaibang muka. Okay? That is the purpose of crossing over. Now, the result is each chromosome contains a specific genetic information from the mother and the father. Because of this crossing over, variation occurs in a random manner. Okay? Hindi natin yan kontrolado. After the prophase, no, the spindle fibers will attach, no, will attach to each chromosome. Ano po ang pagkakaiba nito? The difference between mitosis and meiosis, kung papansinin po ninyo, the spindle fibers will attach to the kinetic core of each sister chromatid. Naka-attach siya dito, naka-attach din siya dito. This happens during prophase, no? For mitosis. Ito po yung nangyayari. Ano po ang pagkakaiba sa meiosis? Instead na mag-connecta siya sa magkabilang sister chromatid, ang isang spindle fiber po ay kokonekta sa kinetic core ng isang chromosome, buo, at yung isang spindle fiber ay kokonekta sa kabilang chromosome, buo din. Bakit? Kasi ang maghihiwalay po sa Anaphase I, etong kaninang nagsama. Hindi yung chromatid. Hindi yung sister chromatid ang maghihiwalay. Ang maghihiwalay po dyan, yung buong chromosome. Ang maghihiwalay dyan, yung dalawang sister chromatids. Okay? That happens during the Metaphase I, where the spindle fibers will attach at the kinetic core of each homologous chromosome and will try to align itself at the center. Now, centrosomes connect to the kinetic core that will later aid in the pulling of the chromosome in outward direction. And because of the spindle fibers, no, yung mga tinatawag nating mga tawag dito, spindle fibers, yon, galing sa mga centrioles, hihilahin po sila papunta sa gitna. Bakit po kailangan na hilahin sila sa gitna? To make sure that the cell, no, or the daughter cell will receive the same amount of chromosome. Kapag po kasi hindi yan napunta sa gitna, baka mas marami yung chromosome nito, mas kakaunti ang chromosome dito sa dulo. And this Metaphase I will receive a variation of chromosome. Iba-iba po yung pwedeng maging muka ng bawat cell. Okay? Magkakaiba yung nilalaman. After the metaphase, we have the anaphase I. Through the aid of centrosomes connected to the kinetic cores of each chromosome, take note that homologous chromosome will separate. Hindi po sister chromatid ang maghihiwalay. Homologous chromosome. Yung tetrad mismo ang maghihiwalay. And they will move toward each pole. Okay? Unlike in mitosis. Sa mitosis po kasi, sister chromatid ang naghihiwalay. No? In Anaphase I, they remain attached at the centromere. Iiwan lang niya yung kahomologous chromosome niya, yung kamukha niya. Pero yung sister chromatid niya, naka-attach pa rin sa kanila. Okay? Ayan, kung mapapansin po ninyo, sa anaphase, nagkahiwalay ang homologous pair. Okay? After the anaphase I, we have the telophase. During this phase, the homologous chromosome pair completes their migration to the two poles. Maghihiwalay sila papunta sa magkabilang panig. And each pole of the cell has haploid chromosome. Let's take a pause for a while. Remember kanina, nung isang cell pa lang yan, we have how many chromosome? We have 6 chromosome. Okay, chromosome. We have 3 pairs of chromosomes. Now, what happened here? During anaphase, nagkahiwalay po yung 6 pairs na ito. Yung tatlo napunta dito, yung tatlo napunta dito. Bilang 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Originally, ilan po ang chromosome ng organism? 6. During anaphase, tig-tatlo na lang yung laman nila. Tig-tatlo, pero nandyan pa rin yung tinatawag po nating sister chromatid. Naka-attach pa rin sa kanila yung sister chromatid nila. Okay? Remember, ang binibilang po natin yung centromere. Now, in Telophase I, each cell now has half the number of chromosome of the organism. Originally, we have 6 chromosomes sa isang organism. During Telophase I, tig-tatlo na lang sila. Okay? Tig-tatlo na lang sila. Now, in cytokinesis will follow in which a formation of cleavage furrow occur in animal cells. After the cytokinesis, each of the 2 cells has a nucleus containing haploid set of replicated chromosome. Okay, pansinin po ninyo ito. In cytokinesis, the chromosomes will decondense. Magde-decondense yan into DNA strands. Pansinin po ninyo. This is one DNA strand. Pansinin ninyo, this is one DNA strand. And this is another one DNA strand. Ito po ay isa na naman DNA strand. Ito ay isa na naman DNA strand. This one is another DNA strand. And this one is another DNA strand. What is very unique about this? This one are duplicated. This one are duplicated. This one are duplicated. Okay? Pansinin po ninyo. Now, after the cytokinesis, after the actual cell division, the cell will undergo another cycle of meiosis. No? Babalik siya sa meiosis. However, hindi na siya mahaba. Hindi na siya komplikado. Katulad ng Prophase I. At hindi na rin po siya dadako sa interphase. Bakit po? Ginagawa lang naman po ang interphase. Ang pinaka-importanting ginagawa ng interphase, yung DNA replication. As you can see here, the chromosomes or the DNA are still replicated. No? Hindi naman naghiwalay yung replika. Yung copy, hindi naman po nagkahiwalay. Kaya bakit pa magdi-DNA replication kung may photocopy pa? Okay? Kung papansinin din po ninyo dito, ang mga DNA strand, meron siyang mixture. Pansinin po ninyo na itong DNA na ito, na galing kay tatay, yung kaduplicate niya dapat ay may kakaibang kulay. Kulay na galing naman kay nanay. Okay? Na nangyari dahil po doon sa crossing over. Okay? This what happens during the crossing over. Okay? Na dapat duplicate yan, di ba? Eh hindi na siya duplicate ngayon kasi may halo na. Ganon din po sa iba. Merong nag-duplicate, merong nag-crossover, merong hindi. May chromatid po na hindi nag-crossover, ha? Okay. Now, after the cytokinesis 1, during the Prophase II, no, it will after the cytokinesis 1, the 2 daughter cells, the 2 haploid cells will undergo Prophase II. they will prepare for the secondary meiotic division, where the 2 haploid cell will form 4 haploid cells, okay, in which contains half the genetic information previously contained in the original duplicated diploid cell. Kung papansinin po ninyo, ito, dalawa po ang ating na-produce na cell at tinatawag po natin silang haploid na. Bakit? Kasi ang nilalaman po nila ay kalahati lamang ng bilang ng chromosome ng isang organism. Now, Prophase II is less complex than Prophase I. Bakit? Wala pong nangyayaring crossing over. No? Hindi na nagkakaroon ng crossing over dito. The process resembles sa isang mitosis. No? Parang nagkaroon lang ng mitosis. Nagkaroon ng centrioles, 2 centrioles, nagkaroon ng condensation, natunaw ang nuclear envelope. Now, Prophase II begins immediately, right after cytokinesis. Right after cytokinesis 1, Prophase II will be initiated. Masasabi nating nagsimula na ang Prophase II when the chromatin strands condense again into chromatids. Magra-wrap around na naman sila into chromatids. Mapapansin din natin that the nuclear membrane will also dissolve during this process. Para saan po? Bakit nagdi-dissolve ang nuclear membrane? For the spindle fibers to connect, no? Para makadaan ng mga spindle fiber at makakonekta sa tinatawag nating kinetic core. After the Prophase II, before going to Metaphase II, meron tayong tinatawag na Pro-Metaphase. Chromosome will once again line at the center, no? Na tinatawag nating metaphase. Pero bago po yun, the spindle fibers will now connect to each kinetic core of each sister chromatid. Hindi na katulad nung sa Prophase I, ang spindle fiber ay nakakonekta lang sa isang sister chromatid para hilahin yung buong chromosome. Dito, kukonekta na yung spindle fiber sa magkabilang dulo ng kinetic core. Okay? Then they will line up at the center that will form the metaphase plate, katulad ng sa mitosis. No? Magpo-form sila ng metaphase plate. Now, Anaphase II, or Anaphase I, Anaphase II, I'm sorry, homologous or sister chromatids will separate. Unlike in Anaphase I, ang naghihiwalay po, homologous chromosome. Homologous chromosome containing sister chromatids. In Anaphase II, the chromosome containing the sister chromatids will separate. Okay? Ganyan po ang mangyayari. Kung papansinin ninyo, ito ay isang chromosome na nagkahiwalay. Ngayon, during this process, dito po sa isang cell na ito, ilan po ang ating chromosome? Meron na tayong 6. Kahit dito, meron na tayong 6. Bakit? Kasi nagkahiwalay na po sila. Ang binibilang natin dyan, yung centromere. Okay? Each pole now contains chromosomes with 2 sister chromatids. In Anaphase II, these sister chromatids will be separated. Ayan nang nangyari. Nagkahiwalay na sila. And the separated chromatids are now called chromosomes in their own right. So, bawat dulo po ngayon, meron ng chromosome. Okay? Balikan natin yung proseso niya. Pansinin ninyo that during metaphase, 3 lang ang chromosome ng bawat cell. During Anaphase II, maghihiwalay na sila. From the moment of separation of these 3 chromosome, okay, meron na tayong 6 na chromosome dito. counted depending on their centromere. Okay? Now, Telophase II happens when the nuclear envelope starts to form. No? Magsisimula yan kapag ang nuclear envelope ay nabubuo na. Pansinin po ninyo na meron na tayong apat na cells dito. Containing how many chromosomes? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Tig-tatlo. 3 chromosomes. Only half the number of the original chromosome count of the organism, which is 6. Okay? Now, after the telophase, we have the actual cytokinesis, producing 4 daughter cells or gametes in animals. Each contains haploid set of chromosome. Okay? Pansinin po ninyo, because of the crossing over, some chromosomes are seen to have recombined segments of the original parental chromosome. Pansinin po ninyo ang mga chromosome, no? Na nagde-condense. Iba-iba yung kulay. Merong kulay galing kay nanay, merong kulay galing kay tatay. That is because of the crossing over. Okay? Now, we already have 4 daughter cells. And these daughter cells will make its way to become a sperm cell or an egg cell. They will never divide. Hindi na sila magdi-divide. They will just wait para sila ay magamit for the fertilization. Okay? So that ends our lesson about the meiosis. I hope you understand our lesson.